All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Cardinals player profile for the 2024 season. Today, we're going to be going over Brendan Donovan, a utility man for the Cardinals, entering his third season. So, Andrew, this offseason, what's kind of surrounded Donovan narrative wise? How have you felt about him? How do you think Cardinals fans in general feel about him? Just give us kind of a picture of that.
Yeah, I feel like the talk surrounding Donovan this offseason has been a lot of trade rumors.
Yeah.
And fair or not, it's been a lot of discussion between do you trade Donovan or do you trade Gorman to get that top end starting pitcher that we never got? So that's fun. Dylan Cease is off the market. Fun for the Cardinals fans. But I never really wanted to part with either of those two players. I thought they were both cornerstones for the future. But I think Cardinals fans, the national media especially, but a lot of Cardinals fans think that Brendan Donovan is kind of overrated. Finished third in Rookie of the Year. Kind of took a step back last year, but as we'll take a look with the metrics, figured some things out, made some adjustments midway through the season, and got a lot better right before he got injured. And right before his injury, he was playing like an all-star caliber bat, and he can play, 6 positions? He can't play center, and he can't pitch, and he can't catch. So 6 positions he can play.
At a good
so
level.
that's extremely valuable for the Cardinals. So not somebody I want to part with, someone I think honestly should be leading off, especially now that Lars Nootbaar is in question for opening day. But yeah, I'm really excited for Donovan this season. Don't see any reason to get rid of him. And hopefully see him fully break out and like put himself on people's radars for once.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with the idea that Brendan Donovan took a step backward last year, actually. It's kind of like the Paul Goldschmidt thing that we've talked about, where Paul Goldschmidt still had the same quality of contact, had worse results because he got unlucky. Brendan Donovan had better contact. He had way more power in his game. His expected weighted on base average, which is basically like how hard is he hitting the ball, what angle is he hitting it at, jumped by 14 points. That's substantial. His slugging percentage jumped by over 40 points. His on base percentage dropped pretty hard. But that's not the end of the world for me. Brendan Donovan still draws a lot of walks. He got a little more aggressive, but in the stretch where he was actually like, once he figured some stuff out in June, Brendan Donovan turned into one of the best hitters in the National League. Now, I don't think that's who Donovan is as a player. He's not an MVP level hitter. He's really good, but he's not an MVP level hitter. So I'm not going to pretend like that's representative of who he is. But before he got injured, he was absolutely cooking, and I'm all in on Brendan Donovan. I think he's very, very good. He's kind of one of these guys that Cardinals fans underrate because he came out of nowhere. Like, if you remember, Andrew, just go back to early 2022 with me. Like, Brendan Donovan makes the opening day roster. We all kind of collectively think, what the hell are they doing here? Who is this? And then Brendan Donovan breaks out in just like the most awesome, unknown way. It really felt like nobody outside the organization knew his name. He truly was the 26th guy on the roster. And then all of a sudden he was just a central part of their plans. And because of that, Cardinals fans, I think, have kind of not taken the time to realize like how good he is. He doesn't have the same prospect pedigree as a Jordan Walker or a Nolan Gorman, but he has more success under his belt than either of them to this point in his big league career. He's like a 20 to 25% above league average hitter. And that's without the power gains that he noticed or he realized this year. He could be even better next year. Also, defensively, Brendan Donovan got better in his second year. His WAR it dropped by 0.5 from 2.6 to 2.1, but that was in over 30 less games. So Donovan just getting better from a rate basis. I hope he's healthy this year, which is the most important thing. We'll talk about that later. Really sucky injury ended the season for him, but I just can't say enough. I'm a huge Brendan Donovan fan. I bought a jersey. I'm a massive Donovan fan. I'm so glad they didn't trade him. So kind of getting into projections now. The projections are honestly like really low on him. They think he's going to have the worst season that he's had yet. They have him playing 120 games, which is nice. That would be as many as he played back in 2022. But they all think he's going to take a step backwards in value. They think he's going to take a step backwards offensively. They think he's going to be below league average defensively. It's kind of disappointing. And honestly, like, I'm taking the over across the board on Donovan. I don't think there's another player on the Cardinals roster that these projections get quite as wrong as Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, I feel like he was one of the players who was most impressive at the winter warm-up. He spoke a lot about the adjustments he made last season, and he's kind of stepping up as a leader in this clubhouse amongst some of the younger guys. I know Nolan Arenado made some interesting comments. I'm not fully sure how I feel about that, saying that the clubhouse is kind of overrun by the young guys, but seems like he's got some of that under control. He's got a lot of the intangibles down right. He works really hard, plays really hard. Probably because he's a guy who kind of came up out of nowhere, and that's what you have to do when you're not as known of a prospect. You have to prove that you got what it takes, and he's done that. I don't see him having the worst season he's ever had. 109 WRC plus according to Zips.
Over.
He had a 118 WRC plus after not being good really for the first couple months, and then like really taking a step up in the second half before he got shut down. I think he was also DHing a lot last year with that elbow injury. So that's probably why. Like, you don't want your utility man DHing. That's a complete waste. Your DH spot should be reserved for somebody else, but that's okay. They're just not going to accrue as much value as other players. So, like, if he's healthy, he's going to be playing outfield, second base, third base, maybe some shortstop. But we have Brandon Crawford now, so that's not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, he's going to play all those positions at a semi Gold Glove caliber level. So I feel like fully confident in his abilities to have a good bounce back season. I know elbow injuries can be tough, but so far this spring it looks like defense hasn't really been an issue for him.
Yeah, I'm just so confident in Brendan Donovan. He's the type of guy that hits the ball in the right spots. He gets on base, draws his walks, doesn't strike out a ton. He's the type of guy to me that just doesn't feel like he's going to regress as he gets older. It feels that he's going to get better. And so, yeah, I'm honestly like disappointed in the projections. I like Brendan Donovan a lot as a baseball player. I'm just, again, so glad the Cardinals didn't trade him. In terms of best case, worst case for him, I would say the best case scenario for Brendan Donovan is he has like a 130 WRC plus, gets some all-star votes, maybe is an all-star, maybe challenges for that utility Gold Glove at the end of the year, that kind of thing. Andrew, what do you think is best case?
Yeah, I feel like being an all-star consideration, it's kind of weird where the all-star ballots are on Brendan Donovan. Like, I think both of the last 2 years, he wasn't even on the ballot because he just plays so many positions and MLB doesn't know what to do with him. But that's okay. Red's shortstop wasn't even on the ballot either, so that's good. So anyway, he's going to be really good this year. I'm going to regret saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he can be one of the top players in this lineup. We haven't had a true leadoff guy since Matt Carpenter, who's back. So maybe he'll be our true leadoff guy again. Hopefully not.
Lars Nootbaar, hopefully.
But yeah, if he stays healthy. But yeah, I think Brendan Donovan can cement himself as one of the like true like David Eckstein type players that this team hasn't had in a while.
I think he's better than David Eckstein though.
Yeah.
Like Brendan Donovan has real offensive value. I don't think people get that. He's not just a slap hitter who's going to be like league average and do a bunch of other things right. Like Brendan Donovan is 20 to 30% above league average as a hitter. That's a big deal. He's a very good hitter who provides a ton of value to a lineup. Brendan Donovan could be in any lineup in baseball. He's good enough to do that. I fully believe that his bat would make any lineup better. And the Cardinals have an elite lineup, and Brendan Donovan is a big piece of that. So honestly, I'm so in on him. I think the worst case scenario, though, is another injury. But if we're not going to forecast injuries, the worst case scenario is that Brendan Donovan actually is what the projections think he is, which is just a middling hitter. But I just think that's unlikely. I don't know how he really regresses. He doesn't have a strikeout problem. He doesn't have a contact issue. So I think that's pretty unlikely, but that's what I've got.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be saying this to you right now because we're going to be drafting our fantasy leagues in a couple of days. But you're high on Donovan anyway, so I don't think I'm really giving you an advantage. But looking at ESPN's rankings, Brendan Donovan's ranked like 200 and something on their hitter rankings. Crazy. He's like not even close to. I don't even think they gave him a blurb like they give a lot of the top players. Just reading off some of the names that he's behind. He's behind Tyler O'Neill. He's behind Chris Taylor. He's behind like Danny Jansen, Lamont Wade, Mason Wynn even. Ahmed Rosario has a higher projection than him. Pete Crow Armstrong has never had a hit in Major League Baseball, and he's ranked behind him. Tim Anderson was horrendous last year. Just these guys who are not even in his like league. And Javier Baez is ranked 2 spots below him, which is kind of embarrassing because he's like 1 for 20 with like 12 strikeouts this spring. Like he's just not going to be good ever again, but that's fine. Donovan's one of the most slept on players in the league. If you want some fantasy tips, go take him in your drafts. That's all I can really say. But hopefully this season he starts to prove people wrong. He's a sleeper draft pick for me unless Sandy takes him first. And
Yeah.
I guess we'll just see where how far he can go this season.
Yeah, for sure. I think Brendan Donovan's going to have a really good year. One of my favorite players on the team. There's a reason I own his jersey. And I got it signed, which was sick. I love Brendan Donovan. So yeah, can't wait to watch him this year. Obviously, like I said, one of my favorite players. I'm a little biased. I'm very high on him, and I hope he sticks around the Cardinals for a long time. So thanks for watching this player profile. We'll have more coming out every day up until the regular season starts, and maybe a few after that, depending on how many we get to before then. Remember, it's only in 2 weeks. Our in-season coverage on Newt News is still going to be very awesome during the regular season. So make sure that you like and subscribe to this video. Turn the bell on so that you can get the notifications, so that you can keep following us during the regular season as the Cardinals get going here. So again, thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.